welcome to Pyramid Knits. My name is Liz. I am a knitter and a natural dyer based just outside of Taos, New Mexico in the southwestern United States. My pronouns are she, her, and I am coming to you from the past, current, and future home of the Taos people. These mountains behind me are all Pueblo land. There's no roads, there's no trails, there's no nothing up there. It's just the mountain as it always has been. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, yes, this is my crafty corner of the internet, my knit-to-be station, my YouTube podcast, occasional stitch cast, and apparently I'm sewing now, and potentially quilting. That's what I forgot to bring out. Oh dear, you guys. I'm just getting in over my head again. Okay. Just a quick introduction from myself because I feel like I haven't done that in a long time. Yeah, I didn't start knitting or anything until I was in my late 20s. And that has just led me down the rabbit hole of all of the other fiber crafts. So yeah, now I'm a natural dyer, I'm a spinner, I'm sewing, I'm starting to quilt apparently, I'm looking into getting a loom. I will have sheep one day. Anywho, yeah, welcome. I'm just here to hang out with you guys and craft a little bit and talk about what I've been making. So it's mid-October now. It's lovely outside. I can see snow on the very highest peaks back there. I have 3 dogs and 2 cats who are wandering around in the yard that you may see occasionally. There's one dog over here, but he's out of frame. Yeah, there's always a menagerie going on. My co-workers have really come to enjoy my animals interrupting meetings. A lot of times I'll be in the middle of talking about something, giving, you know, my update, and then there'll just be like a cat that all of a sudden just appears. It's like, oh God. I'm a professional. Anyway, I made myself a little cup of chai tea because that sounded nice because it's fall. And I'm wearing my Ghost Horses by Caitlin Hunter. It's a great like transitional season piece because I don't have full sleeves. I also used for the yarn in this, I also used Queensland United and Queensland Perth. So the United is the main color, which I don't know, it was called natural or ivory or something like that. It's basically like a half and half wool cotton blend. So it's not super hot. It's a nicer, lighter yarn. And the Perth is this color changing one, which, here come dogs. Hi, do you want to come say hi, Satya? Don't knock over my tea with your tail. Chase me. Oh gosh. And then the yarn that's changing color through it is the Queensland Perth, which is 100% wool. I believe it is superwash, although it doesn't feel like it. Oh my lord. Now that dog's digging a hole. You guys, here a minute. They're just waiting for that to finish. You guys done? Anyway, Queensland Perth. Hot tip, super affordable yarn that kind of does the same thing as Spin Cycle as far as like the effect goes. It has the same 2-ply barber pole thing going on, except that, you know, normal people can actually afford it. Absolutely nothing against Spin Cycle. Like I totally understand small batch, like believe me, and trying to price small batch yarns. But this is like a mass-produced yarn from Australia, I'm assuming. I'm sure it is, like it's Queensland and it's Perth. And anyway, yeah, so this is a great, like, not too warm, super comfy, fall spring sweater that I find I wear a lot more than I thought I would, given that it has giant horses on it. And I do feel a little bit silly like living in the Southwest, and I'm like, this is just like a little bit on the nose, but whatever. I'm sure Ghost Horses was inspired by Ghost Ranch, which is like an hour from here, which is where Georgia O'Keeffe used to live and was inspired by the landscape, hence these colors. It does look like this out there. It's just these bright red hills with these striations of the different, I don't want to say sedimentary because they're igneous rocks, right? If they're volcanic, there's a lot of volcanic rocks around. Yeah, and dinosaur bones, like I love it. Oh gosh, I went to the Ghost Ranch a couple of years ago and went on a horseback ride, which was super fun. But they were telling a story about how, like, back in the day, the cowboys used to, like, the outlaw cowboys used to go and hide at the Ghost Ranch. It wasn't a ranch back then. It was known as the scary place, right? There were ghosts up there. Because they knew that the natives wouldn't go up there, because there were legends that there were giant serpents that lived in that valley because they found the dinosaur bones. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love it. It's so cool. Love it. Anywho, lots of Wild West legends out here. So, I knit this a couple years ago. Love it. Wear it all the time. I finished sewing some things. So last time, whenever I joined you guys, I told you about how my house flooded in August, which was from like a freak rain. And my front porch is basically like a little courtyard. It's walled in and at the bottom of a little bit of a hill. So yeah, the flash flood happened. The drainage wasn't working and all the water started funneling down that little hill into my front porch area. It just filled up like a swimming pool and like went into my house. So I lost some yarn to it. I lost my sewing machine to it. Hey, Keza, what are you doing? Keza. They're howling. As I'm sitting here, I'm pretty sure that the cushion I'm sitting on is like a little bit damp from the dew or something because my leggings feel kind of soggy. Oh well, we're just gonna keep going with it. I already recorded this once the other day. I actually tried to take you guys up into the mountains with me to go and look at the aspens. But then I forgot half my equipment and it was raining and my dogs kept wandering off into the forest and like I had just seen bear scat on the trails. I was like, okay. So that didn't work out so well. So we're not stopping this time is my point. So I've been sewing. I replaced my machine. I got a Janome DG5 something. It's one of their super basic machines, but it looks like it's pretty well built for being like as basic as I can get, which was really my goal. And I managed to snag Joann's 40% off on sewing machines. So that really helped. So I had these two, hi puppy, there's a dog on the roof. I had these two projects already cut out. I already had the pieces cut out and everything. So I finally set up my machine the other night and I finished both of the garments that I had this stuff cut out for. So this is the first one. This is the Clark top. It is a pattern from Seamwork. Cute little tank top. And yeah, Seamwork is like a subscription website. I signed up for it a couple years ago and I'm going to be honest with you, I have forgotten to cancel it for the last 2 years. But it's one of those things, it works out to, I don't know, like the plan that I'm on or something, it's like $7 a month or something. And I get one pattern per month. So I signed up for it originally as kind of like, well, I'll just like, I can build up my pattern library of basics because they have a lot of, you know, pretty basic patterns. It's meant for people who are learning. So there's a lot of tutorials and there's like video classes of certain projects so you can follow along. Hi there. There's 2 dogs on the roof now. And one of them is barking at me. Jaden, come down. You know how to go around. Are you going around? Come here, Jaden. Aw. This one's my dad's dog. I don't know that you can see him. I'm dog sitting. Oh, puppies. So anywho, yeah, so I'm getting a very large pattern library now because I keep missing my cancellation date, which just happened again like last week. So I have it for another year. So I better get cracking. So anywho, this is the Clark top. It's the second time I've sewn this pattern. Oops. This time I cut the pattern on the bias. It does give you options for cutting on the grain and cutting on the bias, and it also gives you options to make this out of a woven fabric or a knit fabric. So it's a super versatile pattern. I found it a lot easier to do the second time around than the first time around. My neckline, the facing and everything, the join is a little bit sloppy. By the time I got around to doing the facing at the underarms, oops, I missed a thread. I felt like I knew what I was doing a lot more, and it was going a lot faster, and it was turning out a lot better. And I was like, okay, practice makes perfect. I'm finally getting somewhere. So that felt really satisfying to feel like, okay, like I kind of know what I'm doing now. I'm not just like limping along with a sewing pattern. I'm like reading it and saying, okay, attach the facing to the underarm and then understitch the facing and then do it to both. And then I can like go and do that. And it's like, okay, I know what that means now. So that's really exciting. I made a couple of modifications to this compared to my last version. I just kind of went in between sizes on this version and went a little bit narrower on the shoulders and kept it the same size as I had the other on the bottom, towards the bottom of the body. And I added a couple inches of length to this version as well, so it's not quite as cropped. And it's super cute. Right now, wearing it, because it's all pressed and everything, it's quite stiff and it's a little bit just like I have a tent. But I have found with my other Clark top, after I wash it and the cotton, you know, gets a little wear to it and it's not quite so stiff. It has a much nicer sort of cute aprony drape to it rather than a tent. Does that make any sense? It just falls a little better. So that is top number 1. It's of course too cold now to wear this, so oh well. Top number 2 is a nice little fall top. And this is also a pattern from Seamwork. It is the Ace top, I think. Let's see, this is the front. I'm gonna need to sew some tags in these because they're almost reversible. So here we go. This is the Ace top. It has got a funnel neck at the top, set-in sleeves, and it's slightly shaped through the body. And yep, the sleeves are just straight down fitted sleeves. So this is the first time that I had ever sewn with a knit. My new sewing machine has an adjustable presser foot, so I don't need to get a walking foot to just like do basic knits, which I'm super excited about. Yeah, so this is just like opening up a whole new world of sewing possibilities to me. Yeah, super fun. My machine handled it great. It just fed right through. Yeah, it's a good fit. Pretty good fit. I feel like I did on this one. The shoulders are a little bit too wide. They should sit a little closer. So I definitely am needing to learn more about picking sewing patterns for my body, which is different than picking knitting patterns for your body. I mean, this is with a knit fabric, so it stretches a lot. There's a lot of forgiveness in knits, which is frankly why knitting a sweater is not as scary as sewing, I think, because there is just so much stretch. And I mean, especially this is just like, it has ease. It got ease. But yeah, like sewing, once you cut the fabric, like the fabric is cut, like you can't unravel that shit. So that's kind of scary to me still. Anywho, I can definitely see myself making this again in like a stripe pattern, or, you know, something that's not just a plain color. And this is just like a super basic jersey knit I got from Joann. And it feels great. It feels nice and thick and sturdy. I mean, we'll see after it goes through a few washes and I wear it for a while. But it feels like a super, super soft, like quality fabric, like it's gonna hold up. It's not real thin. And it feels warm and cozy to wear, especially with that funnel neck, which I don't normally like necklines that like touch my neck, but this is just so soft. It's just like a little cozy. It's just a little cozy. Anyway, so that's the ace top. So I'm really happy to have a new little fall piece for my wardrobe. Yay. And now I want to sew another one. I was looking at what sewing pattern I want to do next, and I think I might try to do a wool skirt for the fall. Maybe. That means I have to find decent wool yardage though, which is easier said than done. Oh, when I was in Scotland, when I was in Oban, which is very close to Harris Tweed, which are in the Hebridean Islands, right? I could see the Hebridean Islands from Oban, but I didn't go there. But I did go into the yarn and needlecraft shop in Oban, and they had an entire room that was just bolts and bolts of all of the Harris Tweed. And I was just like, oh my gosh. This is not what I was expecting. And I just didn't, oh, you guys. Oh, there's an RV coming down. You can see where the road is now. It's way out there. And my fence line is just right here. So they're barking like 50 feet across. Oh, the silly boys. Anyway, I just felt like I didn't trust my abilities as a seamstress or a sewist enough to randomly buy some yardage of Harris Tweed and have any idea what I was getting or how much I should get or how to use it. So I didn't get any. But now, now that I have my sewing machine that works really well, and I have this really cute pleated skirt pattern that would be so nice in like a lightweight wool, and I don't have any wool skirts. All my skirts are like summery. Anyway, a rant for another day. So let's move on to whips. What have I got here? Oh yeah, so I showed you guys this one last time, and I told you I really wanted to wear it in the aspens. It's not gonna happen. The aspens are getting close to being done. I don't know if you can see, if you have a big TV, if you're watching this like on a TV, you might be able to see underneath the highest peak where there's the snow, you can see a little bit of yellow down there. There's still some aspens going. And I think over on the other mountain range around the corner, there's quite a bit more too, but they've been going for a few weeks, so they're not long for this world anymore. Next decent wind we get, all those leaves are gonna fall down. Oh, weird. Oh my God. Oh, that's so frustrating. I just saw that I have a dropped stitch in the body of this. That, I mean, I caught it back up, but I just like missed a row right there. Can you see that? Oh my God, how frustrating. I mean, that's like 30 rows down if I wanted to drop it down and ladder it back up. I don't know if that's worth it. Anyhow, this is the Porty pullover that I was working on last time. It is a pattern from Gudrun Johnston, and she is a Shetland designer. She grew up there. She lives in the US now, but yeah, she's a Shetland designer. This is Shetland wool. I bought it in Scotland. Most of it, there's a little bit two of these colors are not the Shetland, but most it is. Yeah, so I'm most of the way through the body. I'm like, I actually put this on the other day, and I'm just about at my mid waist, at my waist, at my natural waist, at the narrowest point. And there is a little bit of body shaping in this pattern. So I have done my decreases, and I'm going to knit straight for just a few more rows, and then I'll start increasing out a little bit, and then I'll have to do the sleeves. So yeah, definitely not going to be ready to walk in the aspens this year, but oh well. It'll still be nice, even after the leaves have fallen off of the trees, to still go and walk in the bare trees in this. So yeah, the body of this, as I'm going now, is knit on size US 3 needles, which I believe is a 3.25 millimeter. Yeah, 3.25 millimeter. So it's going, but it's, you know, not super fast. Not super fast. There's a lot of very tiny stitches in here. But I just love this yoke. I love the way the colors turned out. And, you know, oh, this is like half in the sun. That's probably not helpful. Is that just blowing it out? I don't know. Here, in the shade, that's probably better. Oh, there's a snag here too. Oh my God. It's fine. It's just a snag. I can fix that. It's fine. Yeah, like I never would have put these colors together, but these are the colors that they had in the yarn shop. They had this neutral, this really warm brown. They had the green, and they had the navy blue. So I bought enough to make something, and I added in the white, which is a very special yarn that was gifted to me, and I added in this yellow, which is some yarn that I naturally dyed, I believe, with the sagebrush from my yard. If you look behind me, all of that is sagebrush, all of it, and it goes in every direction for miles and miles and miles and hundreds of miles of sagebrush and nothing else. So I will never run out of that color. Whenever people ask me what my favorite dye plant is, that's usually what I say, because it's just so abundant and it's right outside my door. So yeah. Just need to keep knitting on this and hopefully not get stuck on Sleeve Island. But yeah, I still definitely have a couple of, you know, months of good fall weather before it starts to get real chilly. And even so, even if it is really chilly here, as long as the sun is out, it doesn't ever feel that cold outside. So it's kind of funny. I actually have quite a limited range where I can wear nice big sweaters. Mostly whenever I go up into the mountains, and then you need it. But even so, sometimes it'll be like 30 degrees and the sun is out on the mountain and you're like ripping off layers because it just feels so warm. 30 degrees for all y'all over on the other side of the world, that's like 1 Celsius? No, -1. Yeah, negative. Okay, whips. I have one more whip. No, 2 more whips. 2 more whips, but the second one is like pointless. I don't even know why I'm gonna show you. Okay, so this is my other big whip. Oops. I got some fiber on there. Ah, yes, living in my house. There's just random yarny bits and fiber everywhere. So this is, oh dear, hard to see because it's all bunched up on the needles because it's a big shawl and I'm almost done. Like legit, I have 3 more rows, 3 rows of garter, and then I bind this off and it's done. This is the Alejandra shawl by Joji Locatelli. And I am knitting this out of my own hand-dyed yarn, Pyramid Dye Works DK. I do have some of this in my shop if you are interested, and that'll be linked below. The blue I dyed with indigo. The yellow I dyed with sagebrush from my yard. And the gray is dyed with avocado. Yeah, and this is a gift knit. I am through the mosaic section now, which I am very happy with how that turned out. Very, very happy. I have only done mosaic knitting one other time, and I just could not wrap my brain around it. But it was mosaic in the round, and doing it flat was like a whole lot easier, and it made a whole lot more sense to me. So I think maybe that was part of my problem. So, yeah, this is a gift knit, and I don't like knitting shawls personally. Like, I don't like to knit shawls. I don't like it getting bigger. It's just defeating to me. And I find that I wear cowls more often anyway. So they're just easier to just sort of like throw on and tuck into my jacket. And that tends to be my preference. And they knit up a lot faster too. So yeah, I don't really like knitting shawls because of the shape. I don't like knitting garter stitch either, which I know is a controversial thing to say. I would actually rather knit stockinette flat and knit one row and purl the next than knit garter stitch flat and knit every row. There's something about getting my needle underneath that purl bump coming back on the other side with the knit stitch that's just like a little bit off from my natural, where I naturally want to put the needle, that it gets stuck all the freaking time. And I feel like I can just go a lot faster if I'm purling into purl bumps, and if I'm knitting into knit stitches. I feel like I just move a lot faster than if I'm trying to, knit into the purl bumps on both sides, and it's just frustrating. So this is a shawl in garter stitch. Also don't like mosaic knitting, as I explained, although maybe mosaic flat is just a better deal for me. Yeah, so this was definitely a labor of love. It is for my old boss who recently left our company or organization earlier this year. And yeah, I have been knitting on this, and now that it's starting to get chilly, it is time to get it done. So I do just have literally 3 more rows of garter stitch, and then I bind off, and then I add tassels. I've never done tassels before, so I'm gonna have to look up a YouTube video about that. I find it so funny that like sometimes you'll be reading through a knitting pattern and there will be a random technique and they will explain it in absolute detail. And then it'll get to another random technique and they'll just say attach tassels. And it's like, you explained to me how to do everything else. Why does it just say attach tassels? I don't know how to make a tassel. How do you attach a tassel? Yeah, it just seems strange. I remember I did a seamed baby cardigan once. Never doing that again. So it was knit all in pieces on very small needles. And it was just, pages and pages and pages of pattern because it was all of the arm shaking. It had set-in sleeves, it had button bands, the whole deal. And then I got to the end after like 10 pages of pattern, and the last step was sew together. Just like, oh my God. I started like rolling on the floor, maniacally laughing. It's like, you have got to be kidding me. Everything else was so detailed and explained, and it gets to the end, it's like, yeah, then just finish it. And then you're done. Oh, I just have to finish it? Really? That's it? Okay. Anyway, so I'll Google how to make a tassel. I'm sure it's not hard. I just think it's funny that, there was a whole explanation of like how to read a mosaic chart, which was super helpful because I didn't understand how to read a mosaic chart, but I also don't know how to make tassels. So, hey. Yeah, so this is nearly done, and then I can start on another gift knit. I've decided I'm just gonna have like one line of whips that are all gift knit, so I can have like one going at a time, and then everything else can be for me. My only other whip, I don't even know why I'm bothering. It's my Zoom socks, and I don't remember how far I was last time either. I think I'd even already made it through the heel on the second sock. Anyway, here we go. I'm up to the ribbing on the second sock. So I will start the 1x1 ribbing on the next row for this. And yeah, then I'll have another pair of socks for my sock box. And this yarn is the happiest color to ever live. It is called Astronaut Barbie, and it is from Junk Yarn, who is a dyer out of Washington, D.C. And it's amazing. It makes me so happy. Yeah, I'm just making up these socks. It's a 3x1 broken rib, toe up, German short heel. Done so. And then I can start on some more socks. Yeah, so that's like all of my whips. I've been trying to be a little more concentrated on what projects I'm working on and not jump around quite as much. Do you know what I mean? And I've also been trying to focus more on sewing and quilting, apparently. I'll show you guys that next time because I didn't bring it out here. But basically, the story goes, I was like cleaning my house, probably cleaning up fabric or something, and just had a random thought. I was like, I should make a quilt for my dad for Christmas. That's all it took. That's all it took. I found a pattern. I found a beginner pattern online that walks you through it. I have bought fabric. I'm also using some stash fabric that I already had, but I did have to buy like the fabric for the main color of the quilt, but all the little pieces that go in the middle I kind of already had. I have to get a couple to fill in, but most of the stuff I already had. Yeah, so I've cut out a bunch of squares, so I just have a stack of squares to show you at this point. So hopefully next time there will be something that's like actually sewn together a little bit. Yeah, so there's that to look forward to. I want to work on it, but I'm in that situation where I don't have dedicated sewing space in my house. So whenever I do sew, I have to like make a real decision, like I'm gonna sew things, which is why I did 2 tops at once, because it's like if I'm gonna get the sewing machine out and get the ironing board out and like set everything up and like move the furniture so I can have the ironing board, you know, out close to my sewing machine, and it takes over my dining room, blah blah blah, then I might as well make it worth my time. So I can't really just, you know, do a couple little squares here and there, like I can with knitting, just knit a couple rows here and there. Anyway, I digress. I don't know that you can see the ground, but my dad's dog is legit just like passed out in the sun right here. He loves a sun bath. Oh, my other dog's barking. Oh, there's another one. Oh my God. Okay, legit. The person across the street, you actually might be able to see it if you look down at the bottom of the frame, is climbing up a ladder to get on top of their roof, and my dog saw it and started barking at him. That's so far away. Okay, 2 more things to show you and then I'm done. Almost done with my tea. I'd like to get done before my neighbor notices me talking to my camera in the corner. But whatever. So, I reopened my Etsy shop. That's what I needed to tell you. I closed it down after my house fled because it was just like, I just don't want to handle with like having an order come in or something in the middle of all this, because no. So I finally like sorted myself. I've gone through my inventory. I've updated my stock. And my goal is to add some new yarn every week. So last week I added some DK yarn in the colorway Cotton Candy, which I posted on my Instagram. I did not bring any out here, but I'll put in a picture. And this week I'm going to be posting 2 different yarns because I only have one of the colorways, and I don't even have these wrapped up. It's like so unprofessional. Sorry guys. Anyway, this one, it's not going to be the spaghetti mess. Whenever I list it, I'm going to rewind it. I'm going to deal with this knot for you guys. Anyway, this is on sock yarn base. It's my old sock yarn base. I am switching to a new base. So this one is an 80/20, I believe, merino nylon. And this is in the color white Iris. It is dyed with indigo and cochineal. And I only have one of these. So this is going to be, yeah, a one-off. I have dyed this color before, so I know I can recreate it. If people are into it, if you like this purpley bluey, do let me know and I can dye some more. So there will be one of these going up in the shop this week, and this one too. I have a few of these, and again, if there is more interest, I can always dye up extra. But this is on my new sock base, and this is 90-10 sock base. It's 90% US grown Targhee and 10% nylon. It is a superwash, but that means that it takes up the color so well. You can really see in the sun. I mean, my God, it's just like the orangiest orange that ever golded, right? I love this color. And I'm also loving this base. I'm knitting up something in it right now, and it is so nice and springy. It's a 3-ply, but Targhee is quite a good hard wearing wool, so I think this is still going to be just great for socks. And oh, it's really nice. Like, I feel like it could almost probably pass for a sport because it just has a lot of spring to it, but it is a fingering base. So yeah, I'll have a few of these going in. Look at that. And just this one guy. But again, yeah, and if there's any colors that anybody wants to see, put it in the comments below. I'm always looking for inspiration. So yeah, that's about it. I got 2 dogs sleeping in the sun. My neighbor's probably staring at me. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm hoping that I can start joining you guys for more frequent podcasts that are maybe not quite as long. Yeah, I'm cutting back hours at one of my day jobs. So hopefully I'm going to have some more time for yarny things, and connecting with yarny community. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, so I hope I will see you guys again soon. You know, like, subscribe, do those things. More importantly, comment below. Let me know what you're making, what you think about what I'm making, what you think about colors. I'm very interested. What colors do people want? I feel like people want saturated. I mean, obviously, like, I don't know, I'm gonna go off on a tangent now, but I have a thing with my closet that I've been trying to do for like the last year, is every time I wear something, once it gets washed and I put it back in my closet, it goes to the front, right? So everything that goes in just goes to the front. So then, like, at the end of the year, I can see what I haven't worn at all that year, and I can kind of like purge clothes that I don't wear anymore because they don't flatter me, they don't fit me, I'm just not into it, whatever. It doesn't fit my lifestyle anymore. Yeah, I have a lot of cute like work dresses, you know, that it's like, I live in the fucking desert now. Like, I don't need a dress. I say as I'm gonna spend money on nice wool suiting to make myself a fancy wool skirt. Anyway, my point is, I was looking at my closet the other day. So since I've been doing that, now I can see like my seasonal rotation of colors too. It's so funny. So there's like a little chunk of like reds, and then there's like a little chunk of like blues and greens. And like now everything I've been wearing is just like black and olive and just like brown. I've definitely been moving into the moodier, darker colors, I've noticed, in the last month or so. But I mean, it's never too moody and dark for that, right? Oh my God, it's so good. Okay. All right, I'm gonna head out, y'all. Yeah, I will post on Instagram whenever those are actually up in my shop. Hopefully they should be up in the shop by the time I publish this. I mean, in an ideal world. And yeah, I'll try to be back sooner than a month from now. Happy crafting. Bye.